So pictured here, we have Scott Peterson, and then we have Miles. They're both locked up together in a California state prison. So back on March the 9th, so this month, 2025, we heard that Miles here, as you see, there was an altercation between Miles and Scott Peterson. There were some different stories about kind of what happened and what it was about, because apparently Scott Peterson was playing pickleball. I don't know. Anyways, we'll get a little bit into that. So according to Miles, he was already warned that Scott here was a baby unaliver by his cellmate. So he didn't know exactly who Scott Peterson was, and we know that Scott Peterson is serving a life sentence. He was on the DP, but he did get out of that. He's serving a life sentence for the 2002 unalivings of his wife and his pregnant wife, who was 9 months pregnant at the time, with his son Connor. And again, he is serving a life sentence for their unaliving. In an interview with Vinnie Politan from Court TV, Miles and his girlfriend are talking to Vinnie via phone and explaining kind of what happened. And what it boils down to is that, again, we learned a little bit about the what they call jailhouse justice, as they call it. So, long story short, Miles felt that Scott, who was playing pickleball at the time, was coming towards him. He had told him to stop. Scott apparently was getting the ball, because they were playing pickleball, and he kept coming towards him, and so Miles took that as a threat, apparently. So after Miles takes this as a threat, Miles goes in on him, apparently. So there's an altercation. It's just between the two of them. There was nobody else involved. But according to Miles, from what he has told, when law enforcement or when the corrections officers came to break up this fight between him and Scott Peterson, he was on top of Scott, and Scott had some injuries, but nothing serious, no serious injuries or anything like that, but he had some injuries. So I'll post just a little bit of that interview from Vinnie Politan. It's pretty interesting, or I found it pretty interesting. But if you guys want to learn some more information about true crime, I love looking up some true crime. I love talking about true crime. I remember when this case happened back in 2002, when everyone was looking for Lacey Peterson. Like, I remember this so well. There was a robbery at a home nearby that she had been out walking the dog. But we then found out all the really cool, or not so cool details, but all the real details of what old Scott was doing the day that his wife disappeared. So again, Scott, apparently, or so we're told, Scott had purchased a boat no one really knew about, and he decided that day, on Christmas Eve of 2002, he was going to go fishing while his wife went and took their dog for a walk. That was the story that was told. But when everything had come out in court, and of course, we were able to then, law enforcement found